inbound vehicles inside our provinces. As we can see now, you have set up all this area of temporary check and control. And since when you have set up all those measures, by the evening of the 5th of January, we have set up the very first checkpoint. So by 10 p.m., the evening of the 5th of January. And what about the current level of control? And in the evening of the 11th of January, we have upgraded the level of the control according to the requirement of the upper authorities. And currently from the camera, you could see that a lot of trucks and heavy load vehicles, they are waiting for the coming check and control. And we would like to present to you some prepared footages just taken by the drones. Then you would have a better understanding about the coming vehicles from Hebei Province to Shanxi. So from the footage, you could see that a lot of vehicles and trucks, they are waiting on the Donglü Highway. And most of the vehicles, they are the heavy load trucks, mainly for the transportation of the goods. This is the National Highway G2156 connecting Shanxi Province and Hebei Province. Is also one of the main roads to get the coal exploited in the Shanxi Province out. In the hot seasons, we have 20,000 vehicles traveling by this road, and even in some light seasons, we have still 12,000 vehicles per day. And most of the vehicles, they are for the transportation of the charcoals. And some of the vehicles are empty because they are coming into the province to collect those harvest of charcoals out. And as we can see now, some of the vehicles, they are queuing up, but still there's no severe traffic jam, so the generation is quite good. After upgrading our control level the evening of the 11th of January, we have made the classification of the vehicles in terms of the control. Currently, we have several lanes. This lane, for example, is for the heavy load trucks, and next to it for the lane for the medium and small-sized vehicles. So we have separated the flows of the vehicles according to their loads. And beside it, we have also another lane for the vehicles to return. We have several classified lanes at this entrance. This main entrance, there are 3 lanes separated by the road barriers. To this side, we have the bigger size of trucks and vehicles, and here smaller and medium-sized vehicles. And for those vehicles carrying the plate of Hebei Province, they should be guided towards this lane, a designated lane for them. And this one again is for the heavy load trucks. The classification has for objective to reduce the unnecessary clustering and gathering of the people and of the trucks. So now we are looking at the big trucks and vehicles, the heavy loads. So what measures are waiting for them here? For our policemen working on the highways, we are in charge of the checks. We have a routine already set. Maybe I could give the floor to one of our colleagues to give you the details about the routine, about the control. And currently, this lane in front of us is for the disinfection of the small and medium-sized vehicles. I'd like to have some communication with our colleague here. So now you're doing the COVID-19 response concerning the small and medium-sized vehicles as well as the passengers. First of all, the step one is the disinfection, and then we ask our drivers and also passengers on board to prepare their health code, and also they should be registered, every one of them. And over there, it's very clear that you have prepared two separated lanes, one for small and medium-sized private cars, another for the carriers, for the heavy load trucks. So they have to go through the disinfection area and they have to park temporarily their vehicles while registering themselves into the system and also show their health code. For the vehicles, we will first give the disinfection to the tires, and then we also ask the drivers to get out for several minutes to get the registration done, and also the drivers are invited to walk into this particular area to do the registration and for the check of their health code, temperature, etc. And this is a facility temporarily set up by the local CDC and the Health Commission. And as we can see, two of them are the drivers and passengers through this toll gate, and they are showing their ID card and also the health code to our personnel. Excuse me, may I ask you some questions? Where are you from? I'm from Qingdao City. I'm passing by Shanxi Province, and just now you are communicating with the personnel here. And I have demonstrated the personal health information to them and also the trajectory to the personnel, as well as the temperature is also taken and the health code is also shown to the personnel. How long does it take, the whole process of registration? For the whole process of the registration, it takes about 1 minute, and the queuing time not included. So I wish you a very safe journey through this province. As we can see, it takes only 1 minute if you don't have to queue. And on the ground, we also have set up the waiting line with 1 meter of social distancing. We have also talked to the personnel of the local health commission. Just now I noticed that some of the drivers are coming here for the registration. You have set up this temporary checkpoint with the personnel. And what is your job as the CDC and the local health commission? We would ask the passengers to show their trajectory card and also their health code. And we will also take their body temperature. We will register their personal information. If they have developed already some symptoms like high fever, then they will be moved into the temporary quarantine area for a second round of check. If still they are in the fever status, then there will be ambulances or designated vehicles coming to this place to pick them up and then transfer them to designated hospitals. How many personnel are working here in those kind of temporary facilities? For every shift, we have 9 people, and we have 3 shifts throughout the day. And we have stick to this place for a dozen of days. And during this check period, this control period, have you discovered any abnormal situations? Have you discovered any dangerous cases? Until now, we have discovered 1 case with high body temperature, so we have transported this person to the local hospital, and finally it turned out that it's only a seasonal flu, so it's not COVID-19 case. And just now we have talked with the local personnel, and for security reasons we cannot go inside the checkpoint, but From outside, we could see what is happening inside. All those checkpoint personnel, they are fully prepared and also protected. They are in the protection gowns, and also they are equipped with sufficient necessities and also the tools for the checks. Yes, that is a must, because every day they are in contact with a lot of people. So we have to make sure that the whole place is on guard and also under protection. And you can also understand the environmental temperature is quite important for the response to COVID-19. Here in northern part of China, it's extremely cold in winter season. And when we are going to take the body temperature of those passengers and drivers, usually in the very cold environment, we have to make sure that they will not queue for a long time outside, and they will also help to reduce the unnecessary gathering of the people. This is another driver coming to this checkpoint for the registration. Before getting off the truck, he is already informed about the whole procedure. Yes, we have some personnel to help this person, the driver, to get all the information registered. So within the shortest time, we can finish the whole process of the registration and temperature check. And if everything's okay, he has his health code and also the trajectory card, he will be released and he will have the access to the province. So here on the side, we have not only the policemen, but also the traffic administration personnel and the medical care system representatives here. And they are collaborating one with another, but also they are assuming their own responsibilities. They are on duty. Everyone's contributing their own part of efforts in order to facilitate this whole process of checks and control. For some of the vehicles, we have to do the double check of their identity. Good afternoon. I'd like to ask a question. Why do we have to check the ID card? First of all, we have to check the identification of your ID card and also your license. We have to make sure that you are the person on the license, and then we will register further your information about the trajectory and also the health code. You will not only check the ID card of the driver himself or herself, but also all the passengers on board. Everyone has to show to us the trajectory and also the ID card. We will not miss anyone or any vehicle in collaboration with our local health commission. So again, this is the lane for the heavy load, and here next to it, another lane for the small and medium-sized lane. And we have the third lane here. Please follow me and have a closer look at it. This is a totally separate vehicle lane. As is mentioned before, this lane is designated for the vehicles coming from the medium and high-risk regions and areas, as well as the vehicles wearing a plate of Hebei Province. Because we don't want to have a long time contact with the vehicles coming from the high-risk and medium-risk regions, as well as vehicles coming from Hebei Province. That's why we need such a quick path for them. So how would they go through this lane, and what will be the following steps for them to go back to Hebei province. Moving forward, there will be the Heshundong toll station. And after passing by the toll station, there will be a turning point by which they could just make the turn with their vehicles and go back to the province of Hebei. So how long does it take? It's a distance of only 500 meters. So with less than 1 minute, you could successfully make the turn and you will be persuaded to go back to the province of Hebei. So altogether, with Mr. Chen, Captain Chen, we could take the vehicle to see how would it work for our drivers coming from the medium and high-risk regions or from Hebei province. Let's see how it works. So now we are driving towards the third lane, the designated lane for the vehicles from Hebei and other high and medium risk regions. We are moving towards west and also towards Heshun. There will be a toll station waiting for us about 500 meters away. Over there, there is a turning point. So there we can make the turn. On our way here, we have noticed that some vehicles, there are only some vehicles waiting and running on the highway, and it's not a very busy traffic. But we know that the traditional festival, the Spring Festival, is drawing near. Would you expect to see an increase of the waiting and running vehicles on the highway? Yes, that is the key information that I would like to communicate with our friends and audiences, because more people would come out and take their cars to go back to the hometown for the celebration of the Spring Festival. So when you are passing by our checkpoint and also the toll station, please prepare in advance all the necessary information, like the trajectory card, the health code, the ID card, so that you would not block the whole lane, and you can also try your best to avoid the possible traffic jam. So everyone has a role to play here. You should contribute your part. So maybe here we could get off and have a look around. Now here we are standing at another checkpoint in order to persuade the vehicles back to Hebei province. Here we can see is the toll station of Heshundong. This is a toll station to pass in order to depart from Shanxi to Hebei province. For those vehicles that are persuaded to go back to Hebei, they would take the path that we have traveled through, and then they could make the turn here and take the opposite direction in order to go back to Hebei. For people that are allowed to go into the province, they have to prepare the nucleic acid test report too, and also have their trajectory card and also the other necessary information in hand. So good afternoon. You are the person in charge for the whole checkpoint. I'm from Heshundong. I'm the secretary of the party group. What is your major duty here? For those inbound vehicles, when they come to Heshun, when they come to Shanxi, we have to double-check their nucleic acid test report and also to check their health code. And currently, as far as we could see, there are no vehicles coming to this lane. Yes, we have quite few vehicles here. So in the past days, how many vehicles from Hebei province travel to this point on a daily basis? And how many vehicles are persuaded to go back? Every day, about 20 vehicles from Hebei province would be persuaded back. What about today? More than a dozen of them? But we have not yet concluded the number. So how would you persuade the drivers to go back and not to go inside the province of Shanxi? We would share with them the central level policies and also the regulations at the provincial level. And here, do you run the tests on them? We will check their trajectory card and the health code. We would see where have they visited over the past 2 weeks, whether they have already visited some medium or high-risk regions. We have also noticed some CDC personnel. We'd like to have a chat with them. So in recent days, how many vehicles have been persuaded back to Hebei province? The exact number, do you remember? So today I've calculated So have you noticed any big change for the data of today and the previous days? What is the procedure of the control and quarantine? First of all, we will disinfect their vehicles. And secondly, we will take their body temperature, check their health code and trajectory card. If they are from the medium and high-risk regions, we will persuade them to go back to the Hebei province. And what about nucleic acid test results? Why do you need that? Some of the people, when traveling to this place, they have already prepared a report of the nucleic acid test. If they don't have an emergency to come into our province, then we would persuade them to go back. If they do have some emergency to come into our province, then we have to report to the upper authorities. For some special cases, for example, for the transportation and delivery of the fresh vegetables and other daily necessities, we would check all the necessary documents, and also we have to check on the nucleic acid test results of the drivers before letting them into the province, and also with the routine of the temperature checks and also the trajectory and health code. I've also noticed a small detail. You are wearing the badge. This is the badge to show your identity as the CPC member. All of you are CPC members, party members. We have 28 party members here. For all the people wearing this badge, you will know immediately they are the party members. So for every shift here, we do 24 hours per shift. This is my second round of shift. And for our institution, we would take one shift every 5 days. Our checkpoint has started since the 5th of January, so it's more than 1 week now. So for the drivers and passengers coming here, do they understand your requirements and also all the control measures? Are they supportive? So at this critical moment, everyone's staying on the front line. Before our live streaming program today, I've noticed that we have actually selected a very interesting point. Because we are standing in front of this toll station called Heshun. This is a very beautiful word in Chinese language, full of hope and wishes. And here we know that locally we have reported 2 asymptomatic cases, among which one turned confirmed case. So that's why we really hope that at this critical moment that we could brave all the ups and downs, we could have the peace and also obstacle-free path in front of us. As is mentioned by General Secretary Xi in the New Year's speech, we hope that this new year would be full of hope and also full of good news. So that is all for today's live streaming program. Thank you for staying with us.